Hello. This is an intro to my intro. There was one thing I wanted to talk about, and I think I'll split this and talk about at the end. Today, I would like to talk about dreams and a couple things associated with sleep and abnormal sleep patterns. So, let's cut now. Hello. Today, what I'd like to talk about are dreams. I actually have a lot of students ask me about dreams, and I thought today, why not make a video on it? There are three reasons why we think people dream. The first is more Freudian, symbolic. That is, why do you dream? Your mind, your unconscious, is trying to sort out things that are going on in your life. If you're having relationship issues, if you're having life issues, that your brain is trying to work through those sort of on an emotional level. The second one is more realistic. It is that while you're asleep, you are processing information that you've gone over during the day, and your brain is categorizing it, organizing it, and when you wake up the next day, you supposedly understand it a little bit more. That's the explanation that I prefer. The medical model, on the other hand, is one that looks at during the night your brain is very active. In fact, it's called paradoxical sleep or REM sleep because your brain is almost as active as it is when you're awake. So what the medical model says is that while you're asleep, neurons are firing, parts of memories are being triggered, memories of sensations, memories of visualizations, and that when you wake up, you have to kind of make sense of these random firings, and that's what dreams are. They're sort of a random association of things that your brain has to make some order out of. I don't really like that explanation. What is lucid dreaming? Lucid dreaming is the idea that you can control your dreams. In order to do this, you have to constantly ask yourself while you're awake, am I dreaming or am I not dreaming? The idea is if you ask this when you're awake and aware, then you can ask this of yourself while you're asleep. So when you're dreaming, if something bad happens, something you don't like, you can think to yourself, I don't want this to happen, and then you can change it. You would say, this is what I'd like to happen in my dream, and that actually will happen. I've had a bunch of people ask me about symbolism in dreams, or I had a dream about this, what do you think this means? I can't actually go through a bunch of different things because everybody's a little bit different. One common dream, however, that many people seem to have is the dream of being naked. I had a student one time tell me, well, if you're naked, it means you really have clothes on. And if you have clothes on, it means you really want to be naked. No, it's not that simple. However, if I was to make an explanation for why do people have dreams about them being naked while they're dreaming or asleep, it would be that probably there's a vulnerability. There's a feeling that in some setting they might not be as safe as they would normally. I'm going to put this on the internet. I can't believe I don't know if I want to edit that part out or not. Another dream that people seem to have that really affects them is dying, that they die during their dream. And what does that mean? Especially with junior and senior students more, that in April or May, I'll have quite a number of students come up to me and tell me, Mr. Jans, I had a dream that I was dying, or that one of my good friends died, and I'm afraid. And I think if we think about this symbolically, it really makes sense. Is that, not that they want to die, but it makes sense that their life is changing. They're not going to see many of their friends like they have gotten used to over the last 3 or 4 years being in high school. Their home life may change. If they go to college or get a job, they may have to move away. So the idea is that a big life-changing event is going to occur. And that this may be symbolically represented as death. One of the other things I have many students asking about is, I had a dream I was falling. Now, I have actually had students who told me that they had dreams of falling, and when they woke up, they actually did fall, like completely off the bed. I don't have any proof to back this up, but during the night while you're dreaming, it's possible for you to move around. My personal feeling about falling is that, let's say that you're asleep and you're on your shoulder, and then again, while you're asleep, you move from your shoulder to your back. That your inner ear, let me back up a minute. There's a part that Hilgard called the hidden observer. It's a part of your brain that is always awake and aware, even if you're asleep, even if you're hypnotized, part of the temporal lobe, that, let's say you hear something at night, you wake up and you think, oh my gosh, there was something just at my window. How did you know it was at your window? Well, your hidden observer, as Hilgard called it, heard it, woke you up like, hey buddy, there's something going on. You woke up, and then you remembered enough to think there's something in my window. My feeling is, as you shift from your shoulder to your back, your inner ear and the hidden observer in your temporal lobe is aware that something is happening. And as this shift occurs, if it occurs while you're dreaming, can be felt, I feel, as if your brain thinks, oh my gosh, we're falling, we have to wake up. Sometimes the feeling is so strong, you may actually wake up. But I think in many cases, especially if it's just from your shoulder to your back, or the other way around, that your brain says, something's happening, but I don't really know what it is. It's not enough for us to wake up. Sleep paralysis. I used to watch this program called Ghost Hunters. It was on the Sci-Fi Channel. And one of the things that they said was that there was a woman who felt that there was a ghost who was physically attacking her during the evening or early mornings, and that she felt afraid. But what they thought eventually was that she had sleep paralysis. While you're in REM sleep, your brain puts out a neuroleptic which paralyzes more or less your muscles, so that if you dream you're running, right, you're running, that it may be in your dream you feel like you're running really slow. Okay? Why is that? Because you are aware enough that your muscles are not working as quickly as they would when you were awake. So, sleep paralysis means you actually wake up, but you can't move. You're stuck. Sometimes all you can move is your eyes. You can't move your arms or legs or anything else. People, when you fall asleep, all people, when you fall asleep and when you just wake up, can hallucinate. It is not uncommon. You may see things, shadows, you may see figures, but they won't be clear necessarily. You may hear things and other kinds of auditory and visual hallucinations that are not real. So someone with sleep paralysis, like this Ghost Hunters lady, she felt that she was awake, but that someone was holding her down, when in fact it was that her muscles were paralyzed still. I don't have a good explanation why someone with a sleep paralysis, what's the difference between someone who does have it and someone who doesn't have it? Can't tell you. How long does it last? I'm sure that probably varies from person to person. Parasomnia and somnambulism. A parasomnia is something that happens outside of REM sleep, but while you are asleep, and somnambulism is the old term for sleepwalking. Sleepwalking and night terrors. So let's talk about sleepwalking for a moment. I don't have a good explanation biologically, but what I've read is that you go, right if you fall asleep, you fall down through stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, into stage 4, which is way down here. And during stage 4 is a very deep biological sleep. Well, oddly enough, that's where sleepwalking and night terrors occur. So you'd think the person would be very biologically asleep, that they wouldn't be doing anything. But what they think is, as you're coming up out of this stage 4, that the body attempts to wake up completely, to go from biological sleep all the way up to the top into awake, and it doesn't quite get there. It sort of gets stuck in between one of the stages of sleep. Well, not one of, but between stage 4 and stage, I think between stage 2 and 3 is where REM sleep occurs. So during that time, somehow the body is able to start moving around. It's in REM sleep, I believe, that the neuroleptic is going through your bloodstream. But apparently during stage 4, that is not true. I don't know a lot about that, so I can't say one way or the other. But very complex behaviors can occur in stage 4 if you're sleepwalking. There have been some court cases in which people have been accused of crimes and complex behaviors occurring while they said that they were asleep. Supposedly this would be a parasomnia. Now, I cannot, state the veracity of their claim. They may be lying, they may be trying to use expert testimony to get out of a crime, but I can't explain that. But it's not an isolated, it wasn't just 1 or 2 people. There have been parasomnia cases since the 1800s. A night terror is not a nightmare. In the same way that sleepwalkers get stuck between stages, a night terror is an extreme central nervous system reaction of the body while you are still asleep. And you're apparently, again, coming out of stage 4, and the body just has a very instant, strong reaction. A person can scream, be yelling and screaming, can sit up in bed, have their eyes wide open, but they are actually still asleep. In many cases with a night terror, as much as they were hyperventilating, their heart was going fast, their eyes were open, they were screaming, once they're back asleep, when they wake up the next day, they will have no idea what's happened. They won't know that they were really screaming. You will know because they woke you up, but they will not. Gosh, this is so dumb. Oh wait, you know what? I'm not gonna cut it. Just you edit. This is an appendix, actually. What I wanted to add was the sleep mashup. When recalling dreams, what they think happens is that you're actually catching not just one dream and not one long dream, but you're actually probably catching 2 or 3 small dreams. As you wake up, your brain says, what the heck is this? It doesn't know what to do with it. It mashes it all together, and what you end up with is one really epic dream. But in fact, what they think is happening is that your brain is mashing all of these things together. It's pulling out the things that don't make any sense, and it's leaving the things that it thinks, it thinks without you, are meaningful. So that's the explanation for why maybe in one part of your dream you are in one place, and another part of the dream you are in another place. Anyway, thank you for watching. Bye-bye.